All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We back.
We're
We're
back
back.
with part 2.
Yeah.
And Melissa, he didn't chase her off. She stood her ground. No, I'm just kidding.
She's Puerto Rican.
She
So
is tough.
she probably likes a little bit of danger
She,
and intimidation.
you know, Puerto
and
Ricans, they
shit
like to
like
bring
that.
a knife to the gunfight.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
Me loves her.
So these guys,
Mhm.
they're Don Juans, Casanovas, ladies' men, chick magnets, lady killers,
Oh, they think.
heartthrobs. And the reason why they are these monikers is because, not literally like lady killers, whatever, heartthrobs, is because they have these qualities to woo women, which is synonymous with seducing women.
Mhm.
Seducers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So women want to be seduced, pursued, protected,
Right.
loved, right? That's
Mhm.
what they want
Mhm.
from men. So these men, that's why they're like the Don Juans, the lady killers.
Right.
They have these qualities to woo women.
But there's no
Mhm.
substance there.
Well, the real men,
Oh, no.
you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? The real men,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
there's guys who are players out there who
Right.
play the game,
Right.
you know, or they
Mm.
they're kind of just they say that they're single, but they're
In
Right.
relationships.
in like
Yeah.
multiple relationships.
Mhm.
So they're poly, but they're not saying that. They're in
They're
denial.
lying.
So
Not being honest.
yeah, so we look at
Mhm.
men who seduce women. Let's think of like gigolos,
Mhm.
let's think of strippers, right?
Mm.
Maybe male prostitutes, which would be like kind of like a gigolo, right?
Mhm.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
So these men are not seducers.
They're not seducers or they're not dominant.
Neither.
Mm.
Well, I think
Why? Because think what?
I'm sorry, did you say Don Juan and then you said gigolos? Because a Don Juan, you know, typically they are seducers. A
No,
gigolo,
no. See, I'm trying to explain to you, these are real seducers. Remember, we're trying to differentiate between fake doms and real doms.
right,
Mm.
right. Okay,
So the
so
ones that are seducing women visually, like
are the
the
Don
stripper,
Juans you're saying?
the stripper that goes on social media to promote, yo, I'm gonna be in your town this week, and he's doing his little things
Mhm.
on online or whatever, you know, like fucking he's naked
Mhm.
and
Or
he's like moving
dancing.
his hips, or he's showing he's eating pussy. Like, look
Oh,
how I eat pussy, like, you know what I'm saying, with his tongue.
That's
It's
awful.
is visually arousing to women. He's seducing women.
Okay,
However, he's not a seducer. He's
got
not
you.
really. Why? Because he's objectifying himself.
imitation.
Mm,
Is
Yeah.
that okay to say?
Yeah.
he's
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
these guys who are like the gigolos, those male strippers or whatever it is, they're not dominants. They're now. You know, so a guy that
Wannabes.
yeah, like a
Right.
man who
But
probably
he's
does
wearing a
this
mask.
professionally too,
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
gets paid for it.
Mhm.
Like he'll get
Right.
paid to
Right.
dominate women. He's not a dominant.
Mm. Gotcha.
And you need more elaboration or you got it?
I understand.
Okay, do you need more elaboration?
No, I got it.
Okay. So for people out there
Mm.
who don't have it, I'm gonna elaborate because I
Okay.
love to do this shit.
He's like, bitch, you
I
better say the
love
right word. I
I
should have
love
said
to
yeah.
I know.
I
I
love
know.
to do this
Because I
shit.
saw that little
Go.
look afterwards. I'm like,
So
oh,
people
shit.
can understand because
Yeah, no, it's good.
I
No, that's
always give
good.
examples.
Mhm.
So the reason I say the professional dom, the one that does this for money, is not a dominant, is because that's their job.
Right.
Think of it, and I'm gonna use this example so people can understand. The governor of a state, country, or I wasn't gonna say country. You know, like fucking like a mayor of Brazil or a president of Costa Rica, right?
Mhm.
Those guys have to be dominant in their role
Mm.
daily. People are coming to them, what we doing now? What do we sign off on this, right? They have to be dominant. But when they go home, they might desire to be spanked. Why? Because when you're at work, you have to put on a mask. You
Mm.
transform.
Yeah.
Wow.
You transform. So now, as he's transforming,
Mm.
when he arrives home, because making decisions all day could be pressure. When he gets home, that's a sanctuary. Nobody else is around. It's just her and I. I can relinquish control. because that is
Mm.
a release for me.
Mhm.
So he
Mm.
might say, babe, grab the strap on. You're fucking me tonight.
Mm.
You're
Or
tying me up
if he
and
doesn't have a
spanking
wife,
me.
he probably calls a mistress over
Yes,
to
to
yep,
sit on his face and walk on his
or hit him or
balls.
something. Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
So a lot of these rich ass dudes be doing some crazy,
Yeah.
freaky, submissive shit in the behind the
Closed
closed
So
doors.
doors.
true.
You,
So
you see what
true.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they could be dominant.
Right.
Mm.
Could be a rapper also.
Mm.
So just
They're on
because
the microphone, dominant, deep voice, all that,
Yeah.
right? They're touching your emotions. I do this, and I'm a killer, and I'm a gangster. Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
But they'll say that a woman eating their ass is
It's
cool.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm
That's
saying? Which
true.
is, hey,
To each his own.
if that's your thing, that's your thing.
Yeah.
However, you need to question your sexual orientation if you allow her to do that. Everybody's entitled to their own shit. But if
Interesting.
you're letting somebody go there anally, you wouldn't mind a man doing it.
Wepa.
I mean, I'm
I
not
mean,
going anywhere.
yeah, I'm not
Really.
even gonna touch that.
You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes. So that's why I said, even in the premiere 81, when we were talking about Stuck Between Two Different Worlds, the 5th book,
Mhm.
you are who you really are behind closed doors.
Ooh.
So what you're
So
saying
if
is
you're
that
a
a man that has a dominant job,
yeah,
he's only dominant because of that job. He's not dominant outside of it. So when he
most
at 5, right? Most men
yes,
at 5 o'clock when it's time to punch out, he leaves that dominant position there.
yes.
Gotcha.
And he
Interesting.
could be submissive in
At home.
society, with women, with at home, everything.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. Like most men are like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Hmm.
All right.
Okay.
We talked about
Interesting.
father figures, mentors, leaders.
Mhm.
Gets what he wants and
Their
takes it without
their
asking.
pheromones. They're gifted. These guys, the real doms, they're gifted with characteristics and pheromones that is going to attract the opposite sex. It's like vampires, right?
Mm-hmm.
So vampires, the way they speak, their voice, their gaze, their smell, their hands, their skin is what's gonna lure you in.
Like a spider.
Like Twilight.
And when you
Exactly.
Yeah.
and when you give them consent, then they can bite you, because a vampire, it's fictional, paranormal,
Mm-hmm.
paranormal. They cannot do that without your consent because it's a force field. He could try to bite you. It's not gonna happen because he wasn't invited in.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just like a dominant. A dominant cannot coerce submission. You're gonna be dominant to me because every woman is. In the
Submissive.
past, you got no submissive. You got no choice. He cannot force or take it.
Mm.
That's interesting.
You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
So, there was a woman I had a conversation with. She was like, the dom is strong because of the sub. No, the dom is strong solo.
That's it.
He
Yeah.
gets the sub that makes him stronger.
Yeah.
Why is he stronger? Because she relinquished control, power exchange. Women have power. So now they relinquish control to men. So a man could be powerful. Now he has a woman or women, he becomes even more powerful.
And
Right?
then he in turn shares his power with her.
Circumstantial.
Not power
Forever.
like we're gonna be equal.
Let's say if she's feeling down,
Yes, that's what I mean.
unmotivated, could be crying, and he's finding solutions. Oh, this is what we're gonna do. Look at the silver lining.
Mhm.
He's motivating her, and now he lifts her up and empowers her. That's
Mhm.
him loaning his strength to
To
her.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But that's not something that should happen all the time.
Right.
Like you
True.
shouldn't have a crier constantly. That's like a brat.
I mean,
He
You
doesn't
know?
like
Well,
criers.
It's okay to cry in certain circumstances. I said the
You're right.
period thing, somebody passes away.
I told you the
The
period. You could
period
cry if
thing?
you have a
If
period.
you're
Really?
crying for like, oh, I didn't get that job today, come on.
No,
No,
not at all.
definitely.
No.
But
Yeah.
I also feel like, and it could be because, I'm also I think I was more so when I was more on the beginning of my, self-discovery journey and all that stuff. I would cry a lot also, but it's because there are all those emotions that get tangled
Right.
up. That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm
here's the
just-
thing.
yeah.
Go ahead.
And I'm just emotional, and I've always been
And
by
and
nature.
and as a man who is your counterpart, he should be training those things out of you because that's a toxic trait. It's look at it this way: a child, 2 years old, is walking with the glass drops, it slips out of their hand, and glass is all over the place, and the milk is all over the place. They cry. They have the right to cry. Why? Because they're not self-sufficient. If you're an adult woman, it doesn't matter if the man has power over you or you relinquish the control. There are certain things you can control. Your period, you can't. But if you don't get another job, like, why cry over spilt milk? Just get another one.
Yes,
is that
but
a
that's
term?
easy for you to say because you
Is-
are so
But
in tune
I'm
and
I'm
control.
trying to tell you that he should be teaching her that.
Is that a
Alright.
turn off?
He should be teaching her that.
I think it is.
It is a
It's a turn on for a girl too. I think.
Listen. Yes, it
As
is.
a friend, you know what I'm saying. You have a friend
Mm,
that is like constantly, and I'm not talking about because if somebody's going through a hard time, that's different.
Right.
But if it's everything, there's people like he said, the in change of weather. Oh, I'm so sad.
I see
What are you
you
sad
mean with
over?
that. Yeah.
It's okay. It's still
Yeah.
daytime. Let's go outside, spend some
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
Things like that.
Yes, so the man has to actually train these bad habits out of her.
Yeah.
So it could be a turnoff, and he could be telling her this. That annoys me. Stop it. We're gonna work on this. I had a sub in the past. I was 29 or 28. She was like 24. She had this habit where she likes to suck her thumb. I don't like it, but I didn't judge her for it.
Right.
We're FaceTiming
That's
and
nice.
we're FaceTiming and you're sucking your thumb. Like I watch movement even at the corner of my eye. So now I'm focusing on your eyes and that's bothering me. So I'm like,
That would
okay,
bother me too.
I learned that she didn't like hot sauce. So what I told her to do, and I said this in episode
I
16,
was gonna say I remember this.
episode 16, BDSM 103, season 2.
Great
Go back.
memory.
Bananas.
And a
ridiculous.
dominant should have one.
Point
Okay.
well taken.
So the thing is, what I did was I would say, before we FaceTime, what did you do? She'd be like, Daddy, I put my in the hot sauce. So when we were FaceTiming once, subconsciously, remember, it's a
Yeah.
subconscious thing.
Mm.
She did it. And she was like, oh, she had to run to the bathroom. She never did it again because,
Understand.
you see? So it came to a part where we were training it. Then she no longer needed to do it. You see?
Okay.
So it's the dominant's job to train this out of her. You can't just be like, go to the wolves and do it yourself.
Right.
You giving her the steps. So I've also dealt with women who I've given them the steps and they didn't want to take it. And I said, bye.
Right.
You
But
see?
you're also giving her, all right, this is how we're gonna try to fix it. You're
Yes.
not telling her, go fucking fix it. The next time I see you, I don't want to see you doing
Exactly. So you're giving people the
difference.
blueprint.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You opening the door and you know what I'm saying? Go in there, do your thing. You know, you're giving them the key.
Understood the space to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens is if the dominant isn't doing that, she's the result. She's like the byproduct of him. You know, if he's not teaching her, she's not learning. She's kind of just following whatever. She's not following him.
She's just kind of learning on her own.
Yeah.
And Lord knows what she's gonna learn there if she's new to the life or whatever.
Yes. So you have to understand the key component of this lifestyle is education. So if you find guys who are not educated, why are you following them? Why are you giving them pussy? You see? Sex is part of submission for a woman, her body. So if you don't see a future with that guy, if you don't also see that he's not showing characteristics of leadership, good communication skills, emotional intelligence, even if I give him an attitude, he's not trying to punch me in the face. He's not trying to,
Lord, I hope not.
be whatever, be abusive, whatever, yell at me, right? He has emotional intelligence. He displays that. He displays leadership. He's not out here catering to women, showing his dick print like
Yes.
a hoochie daddy shorts.
Excellent
I mean,
moral
thank
character
you.
and compass.
Yes. Oh, you reading the thing?
I am.
Mm.
He gets what he wants and takes it without asking. Of course, it has to be consensual because we do not promote anything that is unconsensual on the Discipline Therapy podcast. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And at the same time, exhibits self-control and self-discipline.
Mhm.
He's capable of completely dominating you, takes risks, especially with women, and has an assertive nature.
Now, before we get into the myths, good.
Good job, Sue.
He's
Good job.
capably of completely dominating you. So that means I always say, show me a woman who doesn't want to be dominated, and I'll show you a liar. I said this in the book 5, stuck between two different worlds.
Do you think that's a true statement? Where he said, "Show me a woman who doesn't want to be dominated, and I'll show you a liar."
I think so.
Now, I was on this show, and I won't mention the show because I don't want to put these women in a bad light.
Go ahead.
So I was on this show with 2 feminists, and they were doing their best to rattle me up.
Right.
And like the dominant, I remained calm. What did I do? I educated them and put them in their place.
You checked them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, it was like they were telling me off camera, you need to do seminars.
You need to have your own
You
show.
need
Right? So check this out, right? When I said that, it triggered one of the feminists. She was like, that's false. How you gonna say every woman wants to be dominated? What if she wants to dominate men? I said, that's a 2% women. That's a mistress who might live, or a madam who might live a BDSM lifestyle and engage in DS. She's the dominator. She hits dudes in the balls with the bat.
Yeah.
They get gratification from that, maybe. She verbally reprimands, like verbally abusive to men. They like that. Could be a governor of a state, makes 6 figures, right? So she's the dominator. I said, that's a rarity of a woman. Then this is when I also got her. I said, reread it again. I was speaking for general. I didn't be specific, and that's when I got her. I didn't say, show me a woman who doesn't want to be dominated mentally, and I'll show you a liar. Physically, emotionally, psychologically, like you see. So when I say, show me a woman who doesn't want to be dominated, she does. Because even though the woman, the sapiosexual, may not want the big dick and the good sex, she's gonna want you to challenge her mind.
Yes.
She's gonna want you to control her emotions. She's gonna want you to challenge her, be smarter than her, teach her something, right? The intelligence. Now you're dominating her. So now that is the catalyst to him, or the prerequisite to getting her body.
Touche. Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So when I was like, I wasn't specific, I was general. Read it again. She was like, okay,
Yeah,
right.
that's what I was gonna say. I feel like, especially when it comes to you, because I've been on these interviews with you, I've watched you there, in action. I feel like a lot of times women and men who aren't dominant, they hear you and it's automatic. They just want to rebuttal. They don't want to listen to what you're saying. And so you get, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And so you get that instantly. She's like, I don't want to be dominated. No, stop and listen to what he's saying. You don't want to be dominated, physically. You don't want him to hold you down while he fucks you. But if a man came and says, hey, I will financially dominate you, I'm sure you'd be okay with that.
That's,
yeah.
No,
that
babe?
takes it to
I think
another level.
a lot of times when females hear a male that is so confident in
Yes.
his truth and how he is,
He's toxic.
we automatically label you toxic, and it's like, nope, all I'm hearing is man.
Yes. So what I wanted to expound on that, you're right, is that comes from trauma responding.
100%.
Most of us are trauma responding. That's why we're getting these things that are triggered.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that will trigger me, but there's been certain circumstances I've had one-on-one. It was 2-on-1 feminists. I've always let them articulate. I've never said, I don't agree with what you're saying. Get the fuck off my show. Kick them out. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So we could agree to disagree, and there's consequences to actions as well. You want to be this certain way? I could tell you what type of men you're going to meet. Definitely not me. Probably for just pleasure, short term, but it won't be something long term. So there's consequences for your actions. But you're entitled to being that way. It's cool. You see what I'm saying? So, that comes with what she was saying with that, understanding and all those major components as well with a dom. So
and yourself, I think.
yeah, so it's trauma
You're sold.
responding.
You're sold, you said?
I said, yeah, and it's good stuff. Because, see, what you're doing is you're educating.
Yeah.
Right? Because even sitting here, it's breaking the myths and the misconceptions that I had about dominance.
Well, hold on to your pants, sis, because we got some more myths and misconceptions coming on, okay? You see that?
Yeah, I like it.
I have
That's
missed my
good.
calling. I should have been on TV. God damn it.
Yeah.
Just
Good
kidding.
stuff.
So there's been myths and misconceptions because of the film and the books.
And actually, I have a
Yes.
cousin who's a lot older than me. Love you is. And when she was going to college, I think she went to NYU, and she wanted to do her thesis. Now, this is back in the 80s.
Mm,
She wanted to do her thesis on BDSM, right?
interesting.
And she was telling me there was not one book that she could find to help her,
Right.
with her with you have to have, what is it called?
The thesis.
I know, but you have to have you went to college, people. Come on.
Oh,
When you're writing it and you have to
oh,
check it off.
The syllabus,
the,
Not a syllabus.
no.
When you're getting your information from, you have to cite it. There
resource,
you go. Like I
resource,
said.
research,
Eso.
reference,
References.
References.
Okay.
That
Ooh,
was so hard for
I know.
me. My God. Yeah. She was like, it wasn't enough, so that I can reference things on. And that was back in the 80s. So imagine from then until now,
Mm-hmm.
how, the myth, and a big myth on
Mm,
BDSM is that, and this is still till now, me and you had this conversation, 2 days ago or so.
mhm, mm,
It's just about sex.
Yes.
right.
So that, yeah, you're right. And
Mhm.
also with the books and the films, a misconception is both parties must be weak in order for the relationship to remain successful. So here's the thing, and I've said this in shows. Shout out the R&R show also, 2016 with Raphael, June 23rd. First time I was on there,
Mm-hmm.
right? I said it on there. The biggest misconception pertaining to this lifestyle is both parties must be weak. No, that's why it's a myth. Dom is strong and sub is strong. Why?
Mm.
She's strong to yield. He's strong to lead. This is the yin and the yang, the masculine and the
Right.
feminine. So what happens is when she is in her comfort zone, he's in his comfort zone.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So those are the myths. Exactly what she was saying is about the sexual aspect,
Mhm.
and one party must be weak. The reality
Yeah.
is it's an unequal but mutual relationship, and that's why it works.
There's an
You see what I'm saying?
understanding.
Yes.
Right.
And the fact that they're both strong, she's giving up control, she trusts, she can open up about her insecurities and everything. And he's strong to lead and provide and protect. What happens is when they come together, because modern
Mhm.
relationships are not like this. They have like a fear of trust and everything like that.
Right.
Like
And judgment.
the same
Right.
guy that
And
you
criticism. Yeah.
Yeah.
in the same person that you're inside, men or
Mhm.
women,
Mhm.
you don't respect them or trust them.
Trust. You don't trust them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
And they
like how
kind
you
of go
always
hand
say.
in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No,
weird.
Yeah.
yeah.
So with like now with the Dom looking at, when you look at the misconceptions of the dynamic, they strengthen each other. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's like, people who think like vanilla or modern, they
Mm.
think it's like weakness, on both
Right.
parts
Right.
or just her part,
Mhm.
but the irony about it is when you are relinquishing control to allow somebody else to like
Lead
kind of
you.
like your
Mm.
life in their hands, that takes a lot of strength. That's what people don't talk about.
Yeah, a lot of
They
courage
think
Yes.
too.
submission, oh, I ain't gonna fucking be a doormat for no nigga,
That.
or letting the nigga just talk to me however or whatever.
Wait,
This
wait.
is the
But that's the
trauma. This is the
misconception.
trauma responding.
That's what I want to know. I want to know what other myths you've heard of, because you're not in the lifestyle. You've never met
Mhm.
anybody. This is the first time I'm
Yeah.
sure you've ever met
Yeah.
a dominant in this
Mhm.
lifestyle, and
Correct.
so emerged that he's in. So
Mm.
what are the misconceptions or myths that you've heard of besides the sex? Like what else can you think of?
Someone who's egotistical, abusive.
Mm.
As a dom, right? What about a
Yeah.
submissive? Have you ever heard of the word submissive before? Like in this
In the
context?
Bible, because it talks about wives be submissive
To your
to your
husbands.
husband. So
That's
uh,
Ephesians
I
5:22.
was just thank you.
Yeah.
So
I'm the only one here that did not know where that came from. But go ahead.
So I think again that's the misconception of when a woman hears the word submissive or submission, that's the reaction they get. Well, I'm not gonna have nobody tell me what to do.
Right,
And
right.
it's not even about that. So I understand the assignment. I understand my role. And when you allow yourself the time to really dig deep and learn about what the roles are for both men and women, it's enlightening.
Yeah. And for
Bec-
your partner, you and your partner, obviously.
exactly. So all of the things that you've been talking about, it does elevate the relationship.
Yeah.
And I
And it makes
really
sense when you
They
have it explained.
they both need each other.
and I
Mhm.
You know what I'm
completely
saying? And if it's
agree. There's an
poly,
order in the
yeah.
universe.
And if it's poly,
Mhm.
right?
if it's poly is multiple, like they all need each other. So that's what makes them powerful.
Mm.
You understand? Because the ego is put aside and they value each other. So go ahead.
Well, can I ask you this? Do you feel that those that are feminist, the feminist movement, do you think that has tarnished um the reputation of a dominant,
Mm-hmm.
of what a man and what the role looks like?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I
And
don't.
the irony is
Mm.
those women get wet from these guys. Those women want those guys the most, but they will not publicly say that
Mhm.
because they think it will go against what they
What
want.
they're
Like they're
saying.
male chauvinists
Ri-
versus feminists. They're
Yes.
both the same thing with their genders.
Mhm.
Male chauvinist is male empowerment. Feminist, female empowerment.
Right,
Mhm.
right,
You see what I'm saying? So they're not gonna work, but
Right.
they'll have fun together.
Yeah.
yeah.
You see?
That's that time. You have a male chauvinist and a feminist, and as a couple, talk about
Ow.
toxicity,
Yeah.
boy.
That's
Yes.
just a bad mix.
Yeah. So they both need each other. And when it comes down to like women saying they don't need men, they're not powerful. Oh, I just want him. I don't need him. They're not powerful. You know what I'm saying? You're in your masculine when you think like this and speak like this. A woman that is powerful in her divinity knows she needs a man. Why? Because let's be technical. A lot of y'all can't survive in a world without men. Everything. Phone, computer, microphones, platforms, buildings created by men, cars created by men. So if we're going to get on a technical aspect, women need men to survive. So if you can put your pride and your ego aside and admit that and really need that and work towards that, you become more powerful.
Well, I think
Procreation.
exactly.
Yeah.
Main
I think women automatically get that stigma because they think needing something is a weakness. That's why. So when
That
somebody says you need a man, I don't need nobody because they don't want themselves to be seen as weak.
Yeah.
But it's not weak. You know what I mean? It's you're taking something and turning it into a negative way because of how you have been brought up or how you whatever trauma, that's your response is to think of it like that. But if you step back and search into your divinity whether it's feminine, divine feminine or divine masculine, just like you said, there's an order.
that
Yeah.
is so true. And
We're,
I
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. I'm gonna go on a long spill.
Okay. No, I was gonna say that something that I admire is women who say that they growing up they were daddy's little girl.
Mm.
And these are the women that I've had the opportunity to meet, and we've shared experiences and stories with each other where because of their father, um I'm losing my train of thought, because
They've
they've
learned
seen the
how a man
example.
should treat
That's
them.
how
Yes.
that's how they search for their men.
Yes.
Thank
Qualities
you.
that their father has.
Right.
Thank you. It's
Yeah,
those
psychology says that too.
it's those daddy's little girl that have those successful relationships because they have that
They
example
know
Yeah.
from
exactly.
their father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The daddy
If
issues.
they had a good relationship with
Yeah,
their father,
if they have
No,
daddy
it's
issues,
that's
then
different.
that's different.
That
Then-
carries over to a relationship as well.
Yeah.
It's both
Yup.
like
Mhm.
yeah. So
So what I was gonna say is we're gods with amnesia. We have to tap back into our DNA. So
come on now.
Well,
No, I'm saying yeah. Come
yeah,
on now.
you know what I'm saying. So
Preach. You know he
That's
has
a
done
preach.
that.
I'm like
He used to stand up in the
Come on now.
pulpit.
yeah, 12 years old.
identity
My grandmother made me do that.
foundation.
Yeah, so a lot of these things in society, which is part of the plan, we're in the matrix, is to deter that. Television shows, social constructs, all this stuff to deter us getting back into our masculine or women getting into their feminine, right? Because they're trying to break the family apart.
Mm.
And if you break it apart, procreation, like you could control population and stuff, control people.
Mm.
So these guys, they're emotionally mature with the emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
They're serious men. You
Right.
know, the irony about serious men is you're gonna get the most fun with them. Those clowns, you'll be laughing with them forever. You know what I'm saying? And they're not really
And you're
about
never gonna know like when is it serious
the
or
thing
not.
is,
True.
yes, the thing is, if you want commitment, and I said this in the show, you get it from serious men, traditional
True.
men that have
Yeah,
values
true.
and morals and
True.
integrity. Because if you got guys who don't even live by any code, that's a problem.
And
True.
not for nothing, but in like all these movies, like gangster movies or mafia,
Those are the real
the
doms.
bosses are never like, show me again. No, they're
Yeah.
always the serious
They're
Yup.
always
type.
the
It
Yeah.
just
serious
dawned on
ones.
me right now. I was
Yup.
like,
Yeah.
this man
Yep.
knows what he's saying.
Yeah,
No,
those
it's true.
those are the dons.
Yeah.
And even though some of those are fictional, it's
Mm.
real.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
obviously those are the type of people that they've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So these
Interesting.
guys are straightforward. They don't play games.
Mhm.
You know, even if they're joking around once in a while, it's not something like if you look at that guy's a clown. No. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Understood.
because he's serious, you're gonna trust everything that he's saying.
So that ties into being respected.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
dominant. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You people don't listen to clowns. They just laugh at them all day. They'll say
Mm.
something spiritual or a
Mm.
quote, and they'll just steal it because they won't think it's
Mm.
coming from them. This
Right.
nigga makes me
Mm.
laugh all the time, and now he wants to say something suspenseful.
Yeah.
Right. Or it's like, yeah, he says something. Okay.
Or you,
Anyway,
or
like
you
I
don't
was
take him
saying, right.
serious.
Like,
Yeah,
Exactly.
whatever.
seriously.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
You got a lot of words, but no quotables.
Right.
You see, so
Mm.
the reality is like these men are overprotective and territorial. That's a real man to me. So
Gotcha.
men can say out there, hey, my wife pulses her ass cheeks for me, a stranger, discipline to see. I don't care because that's her empowerment. She's a boss, right? I'm the one that's fucking her. Y'all can look. This is a man that is not just insecure, he's lower than a man. Why? Because when
Mm.
a woman's body is always a temple, remember that. When you are putting it on, either if it's on public display where guys can just see it through a screen, it
Right.
still puts her at risk.
Mm.
Right.
Even if she gets dick pics, she's traumatized visually.
Mm.
It puts her at risk. It lets other guys know, even if she's married, I could slide in her DM. I could get the pussy. What town she in?
Mm.
Where's she at this weekend? I
Mm.
could get it. Same thing with the guy actually bringing his woman out, and she's dressed promiscuously, but she's
Right.
with Beto. Who cares? He lets other guys know she's easy. So now the
Mm.
moment he goes to the bathroom, he's
There
gonna
they come
That's
flocking. Hey, baby.
yeah.
that's so
Let me get the
true.
number real quick before your man come back.
That's
You
awful.
see?
That's
So the
that's so
reality is
true.
people don't talk about this, but the reality is men who are doing this are not protecting their women because real men are overprotective, territorial, and possessive. You understand?
Yeah, I
So that
understand.
is the emotion of a man. When he's in his masculine, that is the emotion of a man. A man that allows her to do that is a man that's emotionally unavailable. He don't really love her, in my opinion.
Now, what about
Mm.
chivalry? Is that you
Right.
think that's a
That's a
dominant
dominant
trait?
trait.
Is that a
Yeah.
dominant trait?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because that's
I
part
I
of
totally because I've seen guys
that's associated with a gentleman.
right sitting in the subway and not get up for an older
Oh
woman or
yeah.
older man or a pregnant
It's very
woman. Yeah,
rare.
Oh,
only.
we're
Someone
gonna
holds the
get into
door for
that
you
topic.
and
Oh, good because
That's the
yeah.
I got a
topic.
lot
Good,
to say
good.
about that.
So yeah, it can't just be a physical or sexual thing with these
Mm,
guys.
mm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm,
But it's like even let's say a woman was just, having sex with the guy.
mhm.
Um, if the sex is really, really good, she's gonna build a relationship around that. So if he does
Sure.
something heartfelt, she fall in love with you forever because you're already making her come. So if you're already making her come, and then you have just a little bit of quality, fuck the people projecting their love language upon people, men and women, right?
Mm,
Who cares? He does something heartfelt that really matters. I know I could depend on him. She loves him forever. Her tire blows out. Hey, listen, I didn't know who else to call. Y'all be right there. Really? You
Yeah,
will
that's
be?
it. She's in love.
yeah,
She's in
that's
love.
it.
Ooh.
And I said
That's
this
it.
in episode 28, discipline sex therapy. She's in love
Yeah.
because she's already
So
getting the
true.
great sex.
Mm,
You see what I'm saying? So it can't be a physical thing for just these men and sexual. It has to be more.
there's
You
more.
have to literally be her everything.
Mm.
Because
Mm,
listen, A sub that's cheating on her dom lets you know what type of man she has. Because even if that woman talks
I
to
didn't even know that could happen.
Yeah.
listen, even if a woman is talking to different guys, but you're just getting the pussy, if
Mm.
you are dominating her in all ways, sexually, mentally, and all of that, she's gonna drop those guys. She don't have eyes for anybody else. That's how
See?
women practice their fidelity.
Mhm.
They display their love, loyalty, and fidelity. That's how they display their love.
Mm.
So
Okay.
if she's able to cheat on you as a dominant, you're not who you are.
Yeah.
Because you're her everything already. Women are not, they're not programmed to be promiscuous or polyamorous.
Well, it's not you're not who you are. You're not who you are to her or
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah.
Right. He could be
True.
a dominant person, and it's just that woman is flawed.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I
That's
mean?
good.
Yeah. So
That's good stuff.
a man that's gonna even if
Good
a man
stuff.
even if a man is like, oh, I'm cool with her
Yeah.
talking to other doms or being with other doms, he's sharing her. Not just that, not just him sharing her. He's inclined to pimping her out,
Mm.
and he don't even realize it. Same thing with the ass cheeks online, you know.
Right,
And
but pimping her out doesn't mean having her sleep with other men. Just having her wear, dress, um, uh, where she's showing more. Right? Yeah.
yes, so he could be inclined to pimping her out.
Yeah.
But then again, I feel like that's a double-edged sword because society today, you have these major public figures that are out there showing everything and promoting that it's okay to just showcase your body, but I'm still strong and you can't fuck with me.
It
Well,
doesn't
I
matter.
think
It
that's
doesn't
the.
matter. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I
go.
think that even though you see public figure, people in the public eye and all that stuff, you have to know yourself. You have to have self knowledge to be like, well, I'm, good for her, kudos to her, but I'm not like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
true.
even a submissive who doesn't have a dominant, she's preparing for one. So she's not even if I'm single, I could do what I want. But when I'm in a relationship, I'm not posting my ass cheeks.
Gotcha.
No, that's a dangerous woman. Don't even approach her. You see, you inclined to getting with simps because the alpha male is gonna overlook you. Even I don't really do this, but the men that are special just get to know my mind. So the men that aren't get your pussy and the visuals.
That's good.
How is that back?
Yeah.
That's backwards. So a real sub knows that she's gonna dress in a way that's representing her.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not just him, it's her. So with the man, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. He's gonna put the standards in his relationship. I don't care what 100 women do. You're not doing that. Cool.
Right, but as a person, and I'm agreeing with you. I think as a person, you have to. If you can't live your authentic life behind
right.
closed doors, then you're not going to live it outside of it. You know what I
Amen to
mean?
that,
And if
yeah.
you are going to have others influence your thoughts, then you don't know yourself.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
you
true.
you have to be able to exactly like what I said. To each his own. That's great for you, but it's not great for me.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You know, also shout out to Center Stage Music, studio in Long Island.
Ask
Okay,
for Joe.
so in my first book, The Seduction of Discipline, I mentioned, I think it's chapter 13, Power. However, I'll just summarize. Women don't like men who are soft, romantic all the time. If it's one thing that turns women on, it's dominance and aura. The qualities of a dominant male triggers arousal in the female brain. Women love to feel girly and womanish, and they can only feel that way with men who are masculine or manly. It's the polarity I was talking about. Men are aroused by submissive women and also being dominant themselves and having control, especially in their relationship. Women are aroused by being submissive and by dominant men. And then they respond sexually to these guys because these guys have higher values than themselves, or even their peers higher than their peers. You think women want equality? You think women want to view you as an equal? Inequality beats equality, and that's why opposites attract and continue to attract to each other. Women always expect a man should know what to do. They don't want to teach, and they definitely don't want to make decisions. This is when the masculine inspires the feminine. So, what is it about a dominant that drives women insane? In a woman's brain, these are the highest value, highest level, highest caliber, godly, highest masculine of men. And when women are aware of this and witness it, every cell in their body tingle because they were biologically designed and hardwired to be attracted to these men. It's like a newborn who witnesses the titty or the bottle. You know what I'm saying? They thrive off of it. Without these men around, women have no choice but to be in their masculine, and their feminine is repressed, which is going into the next thing that we have.
Episode 85.
Yeah, when she's acting up.
Chapter 10 in the Seduction of Discipline.
Yes.
With Melissa again.
All right.
Hey, Melissa.
So let's see. So I was gonna read the chapter 10, but I'm not. I'll let them get the book and read it. But what I will say is, should a man be a woman's everything?
You're the guest, sis. You gotta answer this.
No pressure. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm stuck in the middle with that.
Okay, what do you say, Sue?
I think yes.
Okay, you're right.
Sue's right?
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm always right, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, because
So-
if you stop and think about it, and if you don't mind me answering this one, because I'm, not that your answers aren't good, because like I stated, you are an educator, but for the audience, like I want them to hear from a woman's point. So if you're gonna go into a relationship half-assed, then the answer is gonna be no. A woman's going to be like, no, he's not going to be my everything, because how do I know that I'm his everything? And that's how a lot of women make it to be like that. If I'm not his everything, he's not going to be my everything. But if you go into it, you are attracted to this man. Let's say you've already done the courting and you feel that the energy is good, then why shouldn't he be your everything?
Agree.
Right? You are looking for someone to spend your time with, to spend your, not
maybe
only
a lifetime.
A lifetime, but not only that, it's your free time. It's your time is sacred. You can never get that back. So why are you going to spend your time with somebody if he's not going to be your all?
I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I think because I'm on the fence about that is because when I was at that point where, like you were saying, Sue, you passed the courting stage and now it's getting serious, and then you're at that point where you're saying to yourself, I want this person to be my everything, and then boom,
Right.
the rug gets pulled out from under you.
And I've been in that situation as well, but this is what I'm going to say to that.
Yeah.
There were flags before that rug got pulled up from under us.
Sure.
Right?
Good point.
Those are things that sometimes we will overlook it. We'll see it and be like, let's see what happens down the line. Don't do that. If it happened already at the beginning of the line, it's going to happen in the middle of the line. It's going to happen all the way down by the line. So I know, and a lot of people tend to do that. Let me see. Maybe it was a one-time thing. You can't. We have instincts, right? That is your body's way of of giving you your hints. Your stomach hurts when you're around somebody. That's not something you ate. That's that person's energy is not sitting well with you. That's what that is.
A lot of people don't know that.
Don't really
But
understand
here's
that.
the thing. What happens often is women love dick more than men love variety. Remember that one?
Damn it, that was an awful one.
Remember
You got to
that
go
one?
back again. That was
Remember
it
that
got
one?
heated. Yeah.
And here's the summary.
Oh, it got so heated.
Here's the summary of and facts. Like I don't need facts in front of me, but I could Google it, but I don't want to be here too long. The summary is, you look at all the mistakes women made with men,
and vice versa.
But more women than men.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Do we have more single mothers here, or do we have more single fathers?
I would say single mom.
Exactly. So now what happens is, because to summarize, women will see the red flags after the sex because they've already invested their emotions into it. Now what happens? This is what happens. A man who, like, whatever you guys think of nice guy, it could be subjective. I could tell you what a nice guy is, but the guy that is constantly pandering to you and yesing you to death is toxic. But in the beginning, you might want to control him, so you're like, he's so great. He's better than all my exes. The moment you get into the relationship with him and it's time to have sex, the sex isn't what you expected. It could be tall, whatever it is, right? You could think he have a big dick. Maybe he does have a big dick. He doesn't know how to use it. She's not getting the pleasure. She starts to hate these things. Now, how he is, the character, yes man and shit like that. They might have an argument about it because she doesn't respect you as a man. You should be able to know how to do this here. If anything, I can control outside, whatever. But that's in your nature. How do you not know how to do that shit and fuck me right? So now, what ends up happening is the opposite. Let's reverse it. The guy is maybe wearing a mask in the beginning, right? That's the other scenario. That's a real nice guy, 24/7 in the bedroom and outside. The guy's wearing a mask, so they have sex. Now she sees the red flags. She ignores them. He's dominating her and making her come. She's getting gratification, sexual gratification, everything. Right. She's seeing stars, cloud 9. Right. She's fucking coming. Every way she's coming, because there's different ways women could come, sucking on titties, clit, right? Some women have with their feet, anal. Like different ways. Their throat. If you're giving them, if you're letting them get your manhood, their throat, you're hitting the back of their throat. They're having an orgasm. They don't realize it. You see? So different women. Okay. So what happens is
hot in here.
if that guy is able to do all those things, right? She will settle. She will ignore the red flags. Listen. When you talk to her friends, but girl, he's a little stubborn though. Man, girl, we all stubborn. Just relax. Now she starts defending you. Now in the beginning, it was like, I'm not too sure, whatever, right? He's too nice. Then after the bedroom, he shows you what it is. You see what I'm saying? And then now it's like, fuck, she stays. She starts building a relationship off of that because good dick, good big dick or just sexual prowess skill is hard to find.
Amen.
Like good pussy is everywhere. You could go to different country and get a virgin, you know what I'm saying, foreign, whatever. But the thing is, for these men, and they want to pleasure you, that's different. Most women want to please their man. It's a special type of guy that wants to please you and see you come.
But there's not a lot of guys out there.
Exactly. That's why a woman will settle.
I got you.
That's why a woman
forgetting that.
Right.
See?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
he broke it down.
Yeah. So it's like you think about a man like me who is a dominator, who cares about your sexual talents. The moment you show me you're really toxic, I'm going to drop you like a bad habit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about a little attitude, eye rolling. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about toxic, real bad toxic behaviors. You know what I'm saying? Negative. Maybe when she prays, she wishes bad things upon you because y'all had an argument.
Dang.
I mean, that's some voodoo type
You see? I'm just giving you an example.
No, absolutely.
So the moment that man sees that, he's dropping her like a bad habit. Why? Because he feels like he can get another one like her. Women will feel like, I can't get another like him. I've been dating.
Because she's right. If he's giving her the, good sex, and we all know that there's not a lot of men out there that give you good sex. Yes. You know what I mean? And just like you said, a hole is a hole.
Yeah, for a lot of men. Yep.
Okay. So if a man should be a woman's everything, should he also punish her or hold her accountable for her bad behaviors?
I mean, shouldn't that be something that we do
anyway,
on a regular basis?
No, it's not. It's not.
Shouldn't we hold each other accountable?
No, the moment we left our parents, we left the nest, we're being raised by outside things. Street, social media, whatever, television shows, reality shows, maybe other celebrities that are role models, quote unquote, to them. They're learning from that. So a woman could grow up traditionally and she changes. She needs to get with a man, boyfriend, husband, whatever, that's going to reinforce the shit that she learned when she was young.
Hold her accountable.
Yeah. So a lot of women, so we were talking about this off air, and let's say it publicly.
Right.
What gender is better at self-improvement? Men or women?
women.
Y'all said women.
Yeah, we
Y'all
said
said women.
we said
And I
women.
say men.
Mm,
Why? Because most women out here have been privileged. And especially if you're like, you look good, society sees y'all as having the weaker genes, so let's always cater to them. You
mm.
see what I'm saying? So they were never held accountable. So because they were never held accountable, they feel like they're entitled. So the moment they do something wrong, fuck that. I don't need to take accountability.
Well,
Because I've always had somebody to pick up my slack, or I've always had somebody to forgive me.
yeah.
Metaphorically, the handcuffs was never on me. The
Yeah.
cops always let me go.
Well, there's also,
Well,
pretty privilege.
Yes.
You're like,
mm,
sorry.
So that's why
a
they will
woman who
feel.
got away with everything just by saying
Yes.
sorry.
True.
Yeah. So
True.
that's why even in a relationship, I'll cook you something, suck your dick. You know what I'm saying? Give you sex.
Make it all better.
Yeah. So even that.
I don't know.
You see what I'm saying? So women, men definitely, women have an issue with discipline. A lot of them have an issue with being on time. Really staying
Not me either.
focused. Y'all in the 1%.
Thank you.
Staying focused.
Mhm.
Not being a procrastinator. You see them all these things.
I don't-
Wanting attention.
I don't stay
I
focused
take
sometimes.
responsibility. I know that that's something that I take responsibility for my actions, because that in turn
I
has
do
helped me to
now.
grow.
I haven't always, but I
Right.
do now.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Men-
that took a long time.
Men
to
just
happen.
always had no choice. We look at history, there's more males who are incarcerated than women.
There are some women who are
Interesting.
incarcerated because of men.
There are,
True.
like I said, there's more men incarcerated than women, because a
Mhm.
man is in societal
Mhm.
mindset, societal concept, right? A man is supposed to know.
Mhm.
Come on, you know what you was doing. Men rob a bank, they get the penalty and sentenced to the highest degree. Women do that, like remember Set It Off,
Mm-hmm.
So
That was a
right?
good movie.
that
Women
was a
do,
good movie.
yeah. Women do that. It's like, just send them to a mental institution. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't have the right guidance. They'll constantly send so many excuses. They didn't have discipline in their life. They grew up without fathers. They didn't have guidance. They didn't know what they were doing. Just give them another chance. Let them learn. Men don't get another chance. They make a first
Interesting.
impression, and that's the last.
That's a good point.
You see what I'm
That's a
saying?
good
So
point.
definitely men step up. Especially being the provider
Mhm.
ideology, like we have to be providers, we have to automatically be leaders. The weight has to be on our shoulders. We have more to take on than
To
women.
carry,
The
yeah.
Yeah.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
what would be some things that would make women act up or behave poorly?
I think if they don't have emotional intelligence and they're jealous,
Okay.
A man who's insecure.
Okay.
a woman who's insecure.
Okay. Those are all good answers. I think other women, because a lot of women are inclined to following a lot of women.
Oh, you mean so they're like
Oh.
influence
Yes.
bearers.
Yes. The celebrity
Mhm.
posts her cheeks and she's married and she's twerking. Ain't gonna name no names.
I'm
I know who you're
saying.
talking about.
You see? So it's okay for me to do it because I'm in a relationship. We ain't even married, me and my man. But she married and she's doing that. So that makes it okay for me to do it. You see? So this might make them act up because they're looking at them as role models.
Could be.
Okay?
Yes.
Sleeping with guys on the first night. Hey, female empowerment. Do whatever you want to do as a woman. Whatever you want to do is defined as being a real woman. Don't let these men talk about real women and what they are and blah, 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 and other women. Whatever you want to do. You want to sleep with a guy on the first night? Do that. It doesn't make you less of a woman.
The
These are
Samanthas of the
those
world.
these are those toxic coaches that are talking like this.
True.
You see what I'm saying? So those might make women act up. And I was gonna say all those stuff that you guys said, so those are good.
All right.
Do you believe women always want some type of power and control over men, whether it's mental manipulation, sexual, physical, sociological, and why?
I'm going to have to say yes,
And why?
because of the example that I saw growing up with my mom.
So it's taught. You're saying it's learned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree that
Mhm.
that women do want to, and I also agree with her where it's some of it is taught, some of
Mhm.
it is just that's how she. Well, yeah, that's how she learned to get her way. She saw her
Yes.
mother. She saw her aunt. She saw her cousins.
Yeah.
That
Right.
must be the way to do it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna.
She did it to her dad. Oh, why, Dad? And now
Yeah.
she's crying. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I believe all women are like this, and you just use a good example I was gonna use. You like read my mind.
Get out of my mind already.
Young little babies will do that. So you do it as a woman, a little girl. So now, what happens is,
Mothers teach their daughters. I've taught
yeah.
my daughter how to manipulate her father.
So
She's 21 now. It's
so
awful.
women definitely want control and power over men because they look at men as powerful. So it's a stroke to their ego when they can. You might have two types. You might have this. Okay, let me give you a scenario. Let's say I'm talking to a traditional woman.
Okay.
She can be very submissive and traditional to me. The guy that DMs her, she could be treating him like a simp, beta male mangina, using him for his attention.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't respect him in all those ways. So she's controlling him. But she looks at me as she can never control. You see what I'm saying? Women have, this is just the lineage of men and women. Women have been oppressed for so many years that in their eyes, men are above us and powerful in all ways. So if we could get power over them, that's a stroke to our ego.
I definitely think that.
You have to train this out of a woman when you get with her. Because this is a bad toxic habit.
Interesting.
You see? You have to eradicate these tendencies that they're exhibiting because it's bad. And ultimately, you know why it's bad? Because if the woman controls and has power and can manipulate the man that she's in, she's gonna drive them down the cliff. That's why men lead, women follow. Because I believe women are not great decision makers, especially during pressure situations. They make bad decisions. Fear and desperation equals bad decisions. That the moment you allow a woman to lead in your relationship, she's gonna take y'all guys down the hill, off the cliff.
Interesting.
You see what I'm saying?
No, this is interesting.
Because women aren't. It's not in their DNA to do this. Work doesn't count. Work. A man might be training you to be a CEO. A woman might be training you to be a CEO. So you have to sustain that training. Remember, all these professional jobs, you go through training, computer, pass a test, training. So what happens is they get skilled, certified, licensed for those jobs. However, nobody ain't licensed in relationship. So how are women knowing to be providers and leaders in relationship? Things that men are naturally born to be. But they don't want to be.
What do you want to say? Because I feel like you have things that you want to say.
I mean,
this comes down to responsibility. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Most women don't want responsibility. And this goes back to the lineage of women. We talked about the 2-year-old. Daddy.
Right, but even if women don't want, some women, like you've said, are forced into that.
Yes. 1 or 2%. But most women know.
Not really, because as you stated earlier, also there are more single mothers than there are single fathers.
That doesn't mean they're taking accountability and responsibility.
No. I'm talking about this particular topic that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
I just confused the shit out of myself. Never mind.
No, but this is interesting because
about the power and control.
Yeah, because again, the example that I've had growing up, and maybe this is a Latino thing, culture. My mom being very strong, dominant, but then also submissive.
My mom's like that.
So in my eyes, I know who controls and runs the house.
Your mom.
Right.
But is it, or is that what she just wants you to see?
But then on the flip side,
she doesn't though. If she's relinquishing control.
But I see the power struggle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because on the flip side of that, she has said to me, this was a while ago, a long time ago. We've had many conversations as a little girl growing up. She's like, Melissa, you look for someone who's going to take care of you, who's going to provide for you, who's going to protect you, who's going to lead your household. But then what I see in front of me is not so much that, because I see her taking control.
But wait, you see her barking at him?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, you see her barking at him, but who's in the kitchen cooking?
She is.
Okay. So at the end of the day, your dad is still the one that's calling the shots because he's not in there cooking for his own meal.
I see what you mean.
And
But
here's
does
the
that make sense?
yes.
Yeah.
And here's the thing with power and control, whether it was mental manipulation, sexual, physical, sociological, financial, right? Status. The reason is women love to feel special. If you ask, if you create a poll and say, do women want to feel special, equal, whatever, special treatment or equal, they're gonna say special treatment. They're not gonna give a fuck about equality because they know themselves that they're part-time equality advocates. At the moment it doesn't favor them and the double standards, no, I'm a woman. Don't send me out to war. No. I'm in the kitchen now. Yeah, yo. Act like chicks now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You understand? When it doesn't favor them, yes. So that's why it comes down to it. Take a man like me, for example. Women out there could be like, he's a god. He's almost perfect. He's untamable. If I could sit on his face, if I could overpower him, if I could ride him, get on top, if I could mentally manipulate him, guilt trip him, I'm special. Because bitches can't do that shit to him. And he's a powerful motherfucker.
Or maybe not even all that you just mentioned, but maybe them saying I know I'm his favorite.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That's control too. Yep, that's control.
Right. It may
power.
not be like, oh, I got him to I spanked him. He doesn't let anybody spank him. Or, I scratch his head. Nobody scratches his head. No, it's more like, if he does something kind and different to me, I'm his favorite. I know he likes me more. That's still manipulation.
Yep.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
This is what we do here on the Discipline Therapy Podcast. We like to educate and teach. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we like to crush delusion and hypothetical ideologies.
Break the myths. Absolutely.
So, do you believe women who constantly make bad decisions and misbehave, who are never held accountable, will ever grow and be better?
No, not if they have nobody
Why?
there.
No.
Why?
Because they have no one there to
There's
teach
no
them.
accountability.
Exactly.
There's no they don't have anybody to
Answer
follow
Exactly.
and answer
Answer.
to.
Exactly.
There's no-
When you go to jail,
Nobody holds them accountable.
yeah, when you go to jail, you have people to answer to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you
Right,
understand what I'm saying?
right.
So I'll use that analogy. You have people to answer to. So if you've never went to jail and you clearly got caught doing bad shit and we're never in jail, you're never gonna grow. That's why.
So are you saying a relationship with a dominance like jail?
No.
That was
Funny.
a joke.
Funny.
He got it.
He got
Hey! I was waiting. I was like, oh,
What
I
hap-
hope he gets it that
You
it's a
slipped that
joke.
in.
And I got
That
him
was
to
good.
laugh.
And he got him to
Yeah.
laugh. That's
But
awesome.
the thing
So
is, when you get with a dominant, let's go back to the part one. You got to give up some independence because you're allowing that man to lead. In your last relationship, you were so independent. Men never made you feel safe. You were always bringing in the heavy groceries. You change your own tire. You lift a heavy table by yourself. Men were never there just for dick and paying bills. Or maybe he just pays bills, no dick. Right? So men are there for one or two things, right? I had to do everything myself. When you get with these guys, they're going to offer. Oh, she wants to hold the door. Hey, I can hold my own door. I've been in situations. I'm doing this. I don't know who you dealt with, but you could leave that feminist stuff outside before you get in this relationship. What did she do? She adjusted because I was consistent and I was stubborn. I didn't, because she barked, I didn't just give up. Oh shit, she's a fucking fighter.
Let me take a step back.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what happens is they're going to have to relinquish some independence. You don't have to stop working, for me specifically, right? Have your own business. But as far as you hanging out with single girls who go to the club every weekend, you're stopping that.
Right. I feel like
As far
a person's
as you
independence. Go ahead.
posting, sexual memes, maybe you don't post your body. Right? But sexual memes and stuff like that, you're disrespecting the relationship now? No, that's not independent anymore. You see, you were doing that when you were single. Now I'm changing these things. Going through probably the page, take that down, take that down. The way you carry yourself, dress. You see what I'm saying? So they're gonna have to give up some independence.
I feel also independence, like the definition of that like that's why I asked her off camera, like when
Mhm.
you say you don't want to give up your independence, what does that mean for you? Because
Right.
independent for me doesn't mean, oh, I could
Well,
post my ass cheeks on Instagram.
that's
That's not
that's
independent for
why
me.
the summary of this is the communication.
Eso.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
every word
Absolutely.
can be can have 5 different
Mm-hmm.
definitions
Yep. Depending on who's yep.
subjectively. Yeah.
I agree.
So that comes down to the vetting process and the negotiation, which is in DS relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because now when you guys are getting to know each other, y'all are talking about this, whether it's dinner, conversation on the phone, after sex, y'all have aftercare, right?
Mm.
You know, now
Do you know what
y'all are,
aftercare is?
Oh no, I was just gonna ask what is that, but
yeah.
I didn't want to,
I'm
pause it.
sorry.
Yeah,
So
I didn't want to pause.
It's only
Make
because,
him pause.
like, I see
BDSM
her saying,
105.
yeah.
BDSM
He's like, guess
105.
what? I'm not telling you,
Episode
and I'm not telling
43.
you
Yeah,
either,
you're just gonna
bitches.
have to
We had a whole
read the
episode
book.
about that. 105,
Okay, I gotta
episode
backtrack.
43. You go
You
do it.
didn't hear it? You better go back.
Aftercare.
I got
Yeah.
Sorry,
homework.
Melissa.
I got
Sorry.
homework. It's fine.
Yeah. So after the aftercare, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Which like, yeah, go and get that. So, you know, it's also for both of them, not just the submissive,
Mhm.
but for the dom as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pretty much you're caring for your partner after whether it was an intense activity, sex, whatever it is, right? That connection aspect, that safe space. So if you have that aftercare and you now communicate with him and say,
Mhm.
and he's like, well, you know, I had a question about your rules. This is when it should come up.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
when I go through the vetting process with a
Mhm.
potential sub, I say ask as many questions as possible because you don't know this shit. I've been doing this for 14 years. So if you have an issue with a rule or outside or inside the bedroom list, this is the time to talk about it.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
So
true.
that's what it comes down to, which a lot of modern relationships are not arranged. Like my relationships are arranged.
Interesting.
Modern relationships are not. They go with the flow.
Mm.
So a woman might say, "Do you have a purpose for dating?" You know, I'm here or there between jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here or there. You
Yeah.
know, so I mean, what was your longest relationship? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing
That's
with
a
me
big
trying
red flag right
to
there. You
find
see it?
out
You
what
heard it? You read it?
you
You saw
see.
it?
You see this? No dom is saying this. No dom
Gotcha.
is saying. No alpha male is saying this. No king, no god is saying this.
Mm.
Because if he chooses you, he has a plan now. He's a thinker, he's a planner. You know what I'm saying? He has a personal goal before he even met you. Maybe you have those qualities.
Mhm.
Maybe he wants to have kids or family one day and he sees maternal instincts.
Mm.
So that's why he approached you. You see, so, but the other guys, they'll play the game.
Yeah, that's true.
You see what I'm saying? And now it's hard to build a connection because he's not opening up. You're asking the adequate questions, but your plans don't coincide.
I also feel like the modern relationships, like vanilla relationships, like he calls it.
Mhm.
I feel like everybody wants instant gratification so much. They want that instant relationship, and they don't take time to get to know each other. They don't take time
It
to
takes
vet.
work.
And nobody wants
And
to do the
Right?
work. They
and
just want to jump right in and be like, "Hey, you like blue? I like blue. Let's get together."
and that's because
It's not like that.
we've invested. It could have been at least one relationship that was
Mhm.
our longest. We've
Mhm.
invested so much years with somebody where we gave
And it
our
didn't work
all
out.
our
That's true.
energy and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So now it's like, listen, I feel like I'm healed.
Mhm.
I deserve this right now.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to go through the work of actually going out to speed date to get to know
Mm.
people. You know what I'm saying? Let me
Yeah.
just get with the person that knows my body the best, even if they're toxic, and because that's what it is. Because I don't want to do the work. I don't want to go through the dating process. I don't want to go through the dating of getting to know somebody, letting them in my mind, sharing secrets and fears.
Or getting another body under the belt if you're a girl. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Mm.
of course, a lot of girls, what do we do? So that we don't get another body under the belt, we'll go back to an ex or
That's
somebody that
so
we've already
true.
had sex with. That
Familiarity.
right? Because
Yeah.
I'm horny. I want to have sex,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I want to actually have sex. I don't want the vibrator today. So what am I gonna
Yeah.
do? I'm gonna go call an
Yeah.
ex that wasn't no good to
Yeah.
begin with.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
these guys, you know, like I said in part one,
Mhm.
they appreciate exclusivity. So they're not gonna be just with any type of chicks. Like me, I like
Mhm.
women that like have a lot to lose. I said this in episode 17, single moms and single dads was 18. Season 2. I like women that have a lot to lose. So if I'm with the combative, doesn't have kids, doesn't have a business, doesn't care about her reputation, showing her ass online, right? And catering to her fans that way, being sexual, whatever, disrespecting herself, I'm not gonna get with her. Why? Because look what she's doing. I can't be seen with her. I can't bring her to my mom, introduce. I can't bring her around my people I trust and love. I can't fuck with her. It's not just a personal embarrassment thing. It's my principles. She has nothing to lose. That means if we go to public, I look more in depth.
Okay.
We're with the waitress. She doesn't like the waitress. She's quick. Yo, bitch, get the fuck over here, whatever it is. And I'm like, yo,
What are you
you're an animal?
doing?
Yeah.
You're gonna get us kicked out of here. See? Because she has nothing to lose. It goes more in depth when you deal with people who are liabilities and not assets.
But what do you say to a woman who says, just because I'm posting pictures of myself on social media, I'm confident in myself, I'm confident and I love my body, I'm not putting it out there to promote myself, why should I be looked down upon for doing that?
Well,
That's
So
hold
how
fine.
do you
on.
answer? Yeah,
Okay, so
That's
if
fine.
you're not if
I'm
you're
gonna tell you why.
if you're
so
not
interesting.
if you're going to if being proud of how you look, 100%. I work out. I'm proud of how I look too. But I'm not standing there and showing.
Right.
I'll take a picture in a dress,
Yeah.
fully dressed so that you can see. But I'm not gonna put pictures of me in a bra and underwear,
Yeah.
especially not a bra and underwear. I know
Yeah.
my
And you
limits too,
see
Yes.
that.
and put it
Yes,
up there.
because that's how you personally feel. But let me tell you
And
something.
you see
damn.
that
Let
all
me
the time.
let me tell you something. Women can do whatever they want to do. Be prostitutes, make OnlyFans, post their cheeks and everything
Right,
like that.
right.
And that's perfectly fine. Do you? But if you get with a man like me, you're gonna have to stop doing that. Or he's just gonna dump you, just have sex with you, wear a mask, overlook you, not even approach you. Now, women can do whatever they want to do. Here's the biggest thing. There's consequences to your actions. Do whatever you want, but there's consequences. Women in general are attracted to alpha dominant traditional men, especially if they want serious relations, because that's what it's going to come from
By nature.
by nature. So if you are exhibiting energy that should be attracted by a weak man, that's what you get. You get it. You get your punishment, you get your reward. You earn that shit. You're earning what you're getting.
But then I also feel
So as far as the female empowerment and body, that is what society is putting out. It's part of the plan because the reality is a woman's body is a temple and it should be shared with her significant other, not with a whole bunch of people. Now, if she is a stripper and she does that, that's part of her job. But why is a regular woman who's not a stripper, maybe
Doing
a
it.
business owner, doing that?
That makes
Because
sense.
she's probably trying to sell pussy on the side. Or catch a man. But you ain't gonna catch a man. You're gonna catch a beta male, simp mangina. That's gonna wear a mask that he's dominant. And then once he gets the pussy, he's gonna go ghost, or he's gonna show you his true weak beta male character.
What were you gonna
mic
say?
drop.
What were you gonna say?
Oh,
just now?
I was just gonna say that I'm just thinking about people who will tune into this, especially women, and
Yeah.
say, "But it shouldn't matter what I wear, and I don't need a man to take care of me." I'm like,
You know what?
so
You know what? It doesn't matter what you wear. However, there's consequences to your actions.
Right.
If I go to a job interview, corporate job interview like this, my resume is stacked. I'm not going to talk about it, but my resume is stacked and I could talk my ass off. If I don't get the job, the guy's like, yo, we really liked you and everything. If I don't get the job, should I be mad? No, I'm asking a genuine question. Should I be mad that I didn't get the job? I'm qualified, obviously.
No,
My
but you didn't
resume-
prepare right.
Yeah.
And not just that, I didn't present myself
Mhm.
right.
I agree.
You
I
see what I'm
agree, yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So the reality is, like, if you as a woman, knowing that you can acquire sex easier and faster, you're just like, it's like free water. Like, why are you giving like regular people, easy people access to you, whether it's visual, physical, sexual. Why do they get easy access? Why? Because you're low value. That's why. Because if you're a high valuable woman, you're like, man, ain't nobody gonna see these titties but my man, because I got the best titties in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's a man, ain't nobody gonna see the print because I got the biggest dick around.
Jeez Louise.
Hallelujah.
And only somebody that's privileged gets to see that and experience it. So every chick out here can't see it online or even privately. You see what I'm saying? So this is when we talk about dom and sub, I associate that with feminine and masculine. A submissive is the most feminine woman. A dominant is the most masculine of a man. If they switch roles, the woman is more dominant. He's the more submissive. He's the most submissive of a woman, and she's the most dominant of a man. She wears the pants in the relationship. She's the man. She could be a girl, look good, dress, everything. She runs the relationship. She's the man. You see what I'm saying? And that relationship won't last too long. She might cheat. She might do whatever it is. It won't last too long because of that respect factor. Women build their love language around that. Trust and respect. Don't matter what the fuck you look like. You might not even be blessed with a big dick. You know, sorry for you guys. But you know, if a woman if a woman like values you higher than herself, she holds you a high regard, respects you, trusts you and all that, and you provide well, maybe not sexually, but you provide well, she looks at you really attractive now. You see, so looks are more for men than it is for women.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although I think initially you have to have some sort of attraction. But do
That's
you
what I'm
have,
saying.
yeah.
She could be intelligent. He could be tall. He could, you know.
Are we down to final
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yes. So who's to blame for all these women's behavior? Is it society? Is it men? Is it fathers not being around? Single parent households? Like, what's to blame? Television shows, music?
I think I've been answering first, Melissa. I'll let you go.
This is the last one.
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
Society, what we see on TV, in the movies, experiences, childhood experiences. So yeah.
I agree. I also think it's the own person's fault for not well, I'm a little on that one because if you don't know that you have something that needs to be fixed within you, then how can you?
Everybody knows. But some people might say they don't care about it because they don't have the help or they don't know the necessary steps to navigate them to that goal, to the tunnel. So they don't know how to enrich themselves. They don't know how to eradicate this toxicity that I'm exhibiting. They don't know. So they'll just say, you know,
fuck it. Might as well just stay like this then.
People gotta accept me for how I am. They'll say.
Then I stick to my original one. Then it's
you see
that the own person. They're at fault.
Yeah. So it's like for me, like I'll always say, I don't care how you view me. You know, so it's like I love that I'm not for everybody. I'm not saying you have to accept me for who I am. You could not tune into this podcast.
No. Tune into the podcast.
You could not follow me. You could not be in my presence or want me to be your man. You know, but there's people out there who do, and I compliment them. So the reality is like everybody's to their own, but there are people that will get in a relationship and be like, you gotta do this or you gotta take me as I am. You know what I'm saying? Without them trying to change because they don't know.
Or not be held accountable.
Yeah.
Right.
More
or
women
hold their own selves accountable. Yeah.
More women, I believe, are toxic than men because of men.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Fair.
So it's like the men, like these toxic men, they're carrying this toxic ball of energy.
Absolutely.
And then
Here
once they engage in sex, right? Because that's a transformation of energy. Now they unload it on them.
Ain't that the truth?
So now these women become toxic because the men were the carrier. It's like the original vampire sucking all over and changing people into vampires. It's the same thing. Dracula was the original.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So he's over here just fucking just changing everybody, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what happens with these toxic men. So that's why women are more toxic than men. Women are more jaded than men because of men in the past and the weak, those weak guys that created them to be that way. So it's like when you get with a woman and you see potential, that man has more work to do. You know what I'm saying? Because we already know, like I already know, it doesn't matter what type of woman I meet. She could be a good girl, bad girl. She's gonna have toxic tendencies that I have to help her break out of. I'm not perfect, but I got a lot of relationship under my belt. You probably been dealing with the same type of guy. Could be 2 guys in your life, 5 years apiece, 10 years of relationship only with 2 type of men. You driving a Honda all your life. Now you see the Ferrari and you're like, you're drooling. Wait a minute. I thought Hondas was the only dealership
Car.
around or car. Ferraris?
What's that about?
You see? So that's what ends up happening. And we talked about this off air. Women start to continuously go for the same type because it makes them comfortable.
Definitely.
My last was abusive, asshole, domineering, egotistical man. This guy is not abusive. He's a little bit of an asshole, stubborn, but he treats me good.
That's not bad.
I mean,
So she ends up going to that guy. You know what I'm saying? It could be a race preference. You know what I'm saying? She's always after the rappers or the ball players. So she has a type, even if it's opportunistically.
So, Melissa, do you have any final thoughts on the past 2 topics that we just discussed?
I think it's very interesting just learning about what the role or the true role of a man and of a woman as well, and being able to have these conversations and break the myths and the misconceptions, because I think, as a society, what we're seeing today, there's so much misinformation being put out there with the role of a man and the role of a woman.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate because it seems from what I'm learning and what I've been hearing is that we're missing out on so much. Right? We're missing out on so much. And I take it for myself because, I could be that one that could self-sabotage.
You're not the only one.
Because of my past experiences with men that I thought were that dominant, but they weren't. So, just thank you for this, because this is such a great platform. Because in my mind, and I'll end it with this, it's like I've heard all my life, well, you need to find a man to take care of you, and one to provide you, and one, who provide financially, and white house and the white picket fence. And then from what I hear on the other side is act like a bitch. Be that independent woman. Act like you don't need a man.
And where are you hearing that from? Single, bitter women? Probably.
Oh yeah.
Most likely.
Absolutely.
See? And
Absolutely.
that's the
and there are books too.
and that's the
and
that's the asinine part. No disrespect, but that's the asinine part, and not being wolf-minded and sheep-minded, because you're like, why am I gonna take advice from the person that was divorced 3 times and they're talking about relationship?
Thank you.
Why am I gonna take training from the overweight personal trainer?
Thank you.
Or why take criticism from somebody who has never done a
Damn
thing
thing.
a day in their life?
So if it's like, okay, this is how I should be, girls, where's your man though? Why can't you keep one? Oh, I get mad men. I get mad niggas. But do they stay though? Because that's
There
the
you go.
success.
Yeah.
When the man gets the pussy, he's already gone. Dom drop. He's already gone. You need to lift him up again with his conversation, aftercare, rub his shoulders, whatever. Being submissive, bring him his plate, right? You need to show him interest. So if you can get a lot of men, that doesn't count, because y'all could already acquire sex easy and faster. But it's keeping him that's wrong. So if you're giving me all this relationship, like this, how you need to be a bitch, independent, where's your man that likes that? Nowhere to be found?
Mm.
You just dating people that's just using you for your pussy?
No.
Yeah, I'm not taking your advice. Because you're
Yeah.
gonna set me up to be like you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Thanks, but no thanks.
You see what I'm saying? So
Okay.
my final thoughts,
Mm.
I'm not gonna let you go first.
Oh.
So I want to get this out before I forget.
Go ahead. All right.
My final thoughts on this is when she's acting up, a woman's not gonna respect you if she can manipulate you and control you. But she will go crazy and stay in love with you if you can manhandle her. And that's not just physical. And dominate. Because women only respect men that can dominate them. That's a fact. And that doesn't just mean sexual. So the reality is, whether a relationship is heterosexual or non-heterosexual, there is a dominant and there is a submissive. There is a masculine and there is a feminine. Two women, two men.
Mm.
They're not the same. And that's why those relationships last. So the reality is, if a woman is in her masculine and the man is in his feminine, that could work, but it's not going to work too long. Because if she sees a man like me, she's going to want to cheat. I'm not saying she's going to cheat with me.
Right, but
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm not, y'all married women and relationships, stay away from me. Stay on my DMs.
Right.
But I'm just saying, a guy that has a fragment of my character, when she sees that, she's going to cheat. And then when she's constantly getting good dick there and getting dominated and she respects him, she tells him the truth and she lies to her man or husband, she starts to build with that guy and see what he can provide her, then she slowly leaves. I want a divorce. Could be 2 years later, I want a divorce. You see what I'm saying? So the reality is, a woman has to respect you. And this is part of it, holding her accountable like her father would do. She has to respect you and trust you and look at you higher than herself. When she talks to her parents, girlfriends, whatever about you, she wants you, she talks to you like you're a champion.
Yeah.
My man's a shit. And that boosts my confidence because he's the shit. He's a king. So the reality is, if a woman is just like, yeah, I'm in a relationship. Do you have a man though? I'm in a relationship. That lets you know
take it how you want.
I know, right?
she doesn't respect the man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a real woman, even if you're having a conversation with her, she rides at the supermarket, a guy's having a conversation, she's gonna throw it in. Oh, my husband would like this. She don't even have to say, I got a boyfriend, I'm not interested. My husband would like this. These, oh my God, these flowers or whatever it is, these drapes for the house, maybe that nice shirt, I know his size. Oh, he would like this. Because when a woman really loves you, respects you in all ways, she's constantly talking about you.
That's it.
Is that your final thought?
Yeah. So like, men need to hold women accountable, and that's how they're gonna respect you and love you. You know what I'm saying? Because the issue with today's world and modern society is women don't respect men. They look at them as success objects, or you're just here for dick. I already pay my own bills and shit. What else can you be here for? Don't fix shit, protect me, nothing. Just come here once a month for some pussy. You see? So the reality is, a man has to be more. And part of that is holding her accountable. Go ahead.
Okay. My final thought, I don't think it's fair that you are the only man of your kind. And so I'm going to say it one more time. I need you people to email Mr. Discipline should start a class.
Yes.
That's my
Shout
final
out-
thoughts.
Shout out to my boy Big Africa though.
Okay, there's two
he's
of them.
getting married.
There's
though.
two of them.
But he's taken.
So
See,
he's
so-
off the, you know
He's
what?
off the-
No shout out to Big Africa. He was on the show. No more shout out. No, I'm just kidding.
But I'm just saying, like, it's very rare to find these men, and what ends up happening is, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, the way you speak, and you know, we've had other female guests on, and it's like I could kind of see their thought, like, why the hell is you saying all the everything perfect, and there are none of them like you?
Because what's happening is societal
Unicorn.
standards, these social constructs and everything, they're making masculinity seem toxic. Like, they've invented a word, toxic masculinity. It's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Masculinity is godly. So how can he be bad?
Come on now.
You
Like
see?
femininity.
So
godly.
now men will shun away from that because they don't want to be looking in a negative light. They rather be the men. They rather do that. They rather pander. They rather pander to women because they don't want to be seen as shit. I can't get pussy out here. They don't want to be seen as shit. If I'm this way, I'm never gonna get married.
It's like the era of confusion.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm never gonna get women being this way. You know what I'm saying? And now they have a scarcity mindset. Like you need to understand, if 50 women are rejecting you, I guarantee you there's 100 that want you.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it just comes down to. So everybody good?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for tuning into the part 2 of the Discipline Therapy podcast.
Peace.
Peace.